Okay.
Hello.
So, hello, Kamala. So today
Hi,
we want to
Kamile.
speak. So today we want to speak about emotional healing, or about maybe five bodies, and yeah, about the energies maybe in the body, how they work, your experience with it, the work you do with people, and yeah. So I'll ask you questions because I'm very interested in the work that you're doing, and I see lots of. Just a sec. I'm sorry. I got yeah. Mm. So my
Yeah, and I just
question
want
would
to add
be.
to it that yeah, before I just want to add to it that we already did try one time to make this video, and it's technically improving. And what I'm trying to say is that the intention to meet up was also the conscious anger work. So I just want to add the topic of conscious anger, which is yeah,
Yeah,
similar to
of
what you
and
are
about
curious
the
to ask.
conscious anger. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because in
So.
my head I was organized about the topic, but of course it's welcome.
Mm-hmm.
All I want
Mm-hmm.
to hear from
It's
you
part
what you
of
are
it.
interested.
Yeah. It's about part
Hmm.
of this healing process, the work you do. Yeah. So. Uh, Okay, let's maybe even start from that. What is the rage work? What is how would you explain to a person that never encountered this before, and
Hmm.
like what is it to
Like,
you, and
hmm like you mean the conscious anger work? Yeah, that's what
conscious
you mean.
anger? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah. Yeah, I'm very glad about this topic and passionate. And I've been researching it for last 7 years. So, like same like my friend, when we are talking about it, I would answer it in the same way, like I said to him, that um, basically we have emotions like emotional anger. We can't have anger that is productive. So there is kind of distinction that we could explore in ourselves. It's an invitation that we could explore that that anger could be considered as a something fruitful. And many times I notice it in also in my own relationship with my friend and partner, is that it's this fear or something like, oh, I'm not angry, but like if the anger is welcome as something productive and fruitful, it's also a beautiful, uh, yeah, it's like the work of that what it can bring, like let's say decision making, like we can call it passion. And also it's the space to really learn why I'm angry, because if we always push the anger away as something bad,
Hmm.
we don't keep opening the doors why I'm angry. And
Hmm.
there are many ways, and like
Pushing
many
it
ways how to
away.
explore anger,
Hmm.
or yeah, or there is another way, which is to have a space to explore it, like there people organize rage clubs, or there are
So
groups where
people,
they
so
really
you're saying that
investigate.
people are kind of when suppressing the anger, there's like lots of maybe ways that people unconsciously suppress the anger, and there's groups where people can try to kind of
Yeah, let it
start.
out and explore. And yeah, what I also started is like I started this work 7 years ago. And I did mention to you in last interview, which we tried to record, that I went really up with my enthusiasm. I was in Osho communities and I let it out. So with my like kind of also unconscious anger, or in possibility management, or let's say there is could be this distinction. It's unconscious. It's this emotional, deep rooted anger within me, coming from since I was 3 or something. And you have spaces where people hold space for you and you can unravel. And and what happened with me, this anger became like so much more in the light within the group of, like, I don't know, 7 or 20 people. And it started to transmute the memory of something that's been stored in my body. It was like coming alive, and like it's like an old carpet which you are just shaking. So that's the
Mhm.
positive side when you have a space to express them. And what I was starting to say is this unconscious anger, if it's not used properly, it's what I want to say is like also I'm so passionate about this topic. So there are like different directions I'm going with it. It's that in fact it's something positive, this unconscious anger in a sense, if you put it in a context. If your unconscious emotional anger is put in the right context, it's welcome, you know. And there are places like Heart Gym in possibility management, or many places like Osho followers, or many people create spaces where you can unravel and explore this anger. But when it is put in the right context, it can you can create a space for healing it. Like, you know, you can have a skilled therapist or something, or ask for a space. Can you hold space for me, Kamila? I have unconscious anger, and just really go deeper and explore and scream and be loud, like what happened, why I'm so emotional. And you could like really start healing it with the presence of your heartbeat. Like, say, if you hold space for me in a very non-judgmental way, it's just your presence, your heartbeat, your breath, your presence could just be so healing for me, you know. And that's what we do, like I've been experiencing also in possibility management, let's say, that non-judgmental space. And so that's what I'm learning. The unconscious anger in the right context, it's welcome, it's completely welcome. And it kind of what I'm learning myself, it kind of matures, it's becoming more and more mature. Like like let's say I or you have a topic of unconscious anger where we are really mad and it's
Yeah.
emotional, it's not
Mm-hmm.
like a productive anger, and we would
Mm-hmm.
investigate that, and we would be in a space of, I don't know, 3 hours of session. Maybe it was so deep that I would
3 hours.
need three
Mm-hmm.
sessions about that, let's say. But
Mm-hmm.
then slowly it might start maturing into a clear boundary. It might start, probably it
Mm-hmm.
could start maturing in something like, I'm never allowing this to happen in my life anymore. It could start
Yes.
maturing into
Mm-hmm.
this adult flavorish anger that says, no, I'm just not for it. It's not for me. So when you work with it, it just starts having a clear, distinct, like this consciousness, like I'm here, like
Clear.
actually
So you gain clarity.
and
Mm-hmm.
actually
Mm-hmm.
being that deserves to be loved. So I'm done with this behavior when people don't love me, let's say. So you could start setting a boundary with the world. Many things could happen in such healing spaces, and setting boundary or having more consciousness about what you don't want in your life or how you want to be treated or things like this, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Um, and you said that it helps to be clear, like setting to understand that this anger, when you unravel, that you need to set a boundary. So you understand, oh, now a boundary needs to be set. So you start understanding steps to take. That's the possibilities that
Yeah.
come your way. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and for example,
And
in my case,
mhm,
I've had this big ego about, oh, have I done so much conscious anger work, like practicing writing it down and being clear and being productive about how to communicate with my ex-partners, let's say. It was already very productive last for 5 years. So I just ended up going to Rage Club many months ago, sorry, 3 months ago maybe, and there was this another practice that I used to do a little bit, but anyway, I was practicing to say stop. And that was something that I learned in myself, like exploration, like a laboratory, that I didn't have enough of stop in my life. So I still learning that somewhere in my life I didn't realize I could say stop. You know, when people are like aggressive toward you or something, or in my case, you know, and I don't say soon enough stop, but it's not like stop like a controlling, but I'm done with this behavior in my life. Actually also setting a boundary. It's very interesting because you are not trying to control anyone. It's also learning to say, I am changing. I am changing. It's not about you anymore. I'm changing. I'm not a doormat, or I'm stopping this with myself. I'm not allowing to be mistreated anymore. So it's learning. It's like practicing these things give you this strength. It's not about control anymore. Like, stop doing that. You cannot control anyone, but like, I'm stopping to be this kind of prostitute archetype, let's say. You know, if you were like allowing yourself to be moved around and be pleaser, So yeah, it's very interesting. It's a laboratory in a way, but
Hmm.
slowly you start like putting the fruits in your system or something. How to say
System.
that you learning
Okay.
to
In the
be, yeah,
system,
to be
yes.
that
Mm-hmm.
to be that to be the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
I heard and I saw a video that you actually become the boundary, but it's like it doesn't have to be really an anger anymore. It's just very peaceful at some point. Once it's mature, it's just peace. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. You
becomes
shine it
a
outwards.
peaceful way of.
Mm-hmm. And so you say store in your body, like store it in your bones, kind of be,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've been practicing, and I want to say, I want to really celebrate this with you now, because in possibility management, I keep mentioning them because I've done many schools in my life, a different type of like alternative kind of, and so I've been exploring their way of like working with emotions and feelings, and they, what I learned from them that putting and I'm consciously bringing my anger, let's say, to the bones, so to create stronger structure. And there is also this distinction about sadness being more stored in my heart, in my fluids of the body, in the blood, and the fear more in my nervous system. Like you are welcome. It's not like being against the fear. Fear is becoming my friend. Let's come and nourish my nervous system. So there are layers of also unconscious and conscious fear, but you can still nourish. I'm learning to nourish my nervous system. And joy is about the cells of the body. And
Joy.
what I'm so excited to tell you is my experiment. I love to go and practice swimming in the cold water in a river. And I really could not do it properly. It took me even like we do it even in January, but in Portugal the weather might be mild, and I struggled to swim. I was so afraid. It only happened to me once, and I was doing this practice of feeling my bones and many things, like feeling my child part is screaming, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in my child part, and I was hugging her. And what started to really work for me, and I started to swim, really swim, was I was becoming the water. I was connecting to these fluids of my body. I started to connect to my sadness, and they have kind of a distinction or I heard it in possibility management that sadness, if it's used consciously, it's for connection. If it's unconscious, of course, it needs to mature, needs more space for healing. But if it's conscious, it's like really nourishing you and it's for connection. So I started to just feel sad when I was connecting to my like a blood, and I was doing like some other kind of inner work, and maybe if there is maybe stored anger, because anger can get stored to the muscles. I've been following some other practitioners who say sometimes when you have pains in the muscles, you might be storing anger in a wrong way, kind of, instead of bones. So I was also detoxing that consciously in the river, like thinking, oh, yeah, let put my sadness. If there is any anger, you can go to the bones, go, like there are ways you can consciously actually rejuvenate, and it
Rejuvenate.
really
Mm-hmm.
worked. Few times I went to the river, I was really connecting to this element of water inside of me, and I didn't have a big problem I was really swimming. I was like so glad I really became that water element within myself, this sadness. And of course maybe there was a mix of unconscious and conscious, because we all have so much healing work to be
Mm-hmm.
done on us.
Mm-hmm.
So I was swimming and I really celebrate. So it worked. It was
Wow.
something like a test experiment. So I became the
Rejuvenation.
water element. Yes.
Mm. Beautiful. Became like a water. Mm-hmm. So, so this is the regenerative culture, the conscious culture that you always speak with all the parts of yourself and you store consciously everything inside you. And that's very beautiful, yeah. Um, the other, maybe we can speak about, you could tell more about um, uh, either we could go to how women play small, to go talking about how women like suppress certain things, or uh, numbness bar that you told me about. Maybe people would be interested because they think, oh, I'm not angry, but actually maybe they are, but they don't know
Yeah.
because they've been suppressing the anger. long time before,
Okay. Okay.
and
Okay, I'll
it's
do that.
yeah, okay.
Okay. So it's very interesting. I don't know. I have this vision. I was telling you last time exactly. I was walking on the street and I used this hate that practice as a prompt to activate anger inside of me. Because in my case, when I do this, oh, I hate this, I hate that, I hate it, and I kind of repeat it. Sometimes it brings this anger and it brings a lot of clarity for me, even if I do it like 2 3 minutes consciously, like set a timer or with other people.
Mhm.
And I was telling you last time, and I remember this, that sometimes it happens to me that I feel numb. If I ask myself, am I numb? It just happens. It's just I'm not feeling anything. I'm really not feeling anything. I don't know what's going on, you know? It's like it has no flavors, nothing. And it's almost like either clarity is missing or something is not clear. What's going on in my, like, where is my ex on the map? Am I depressed, or really what's going on? Like, I don't know, you know? So that's why sometimes it's good to uh, do some like a conscious work, like with the anger. Yeah, so that works for me. And when I do hard gym or spaces with people to share from the heart, I notice we many times mention numbness being fear, in fact. So
Mhm.
it's good to check what I'm afraid of. So that's one thing also.
Fear.
And yeah,
Hmm.
this like anger, like Hades, really brings so much clarity. And I was telling you last time that it works for me to kind of bring myself a little bit up. And yeah, there are so many directions I can't go with it at the moment. I just feel quite
Maybe
also, yeah.
maybe we could talk. You could talk about people's survival strategies that they have, or how can they appear, how we don't realize it's very unconscious, and
Hmm. Okay.
how to
Yeah.
kind of try to move consciously from that space. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will say something toward it. I've started to notice survival strategies in me. And in fact, I've been sending you, they do like a spark experiments, adult initiation processes in PM, in
Hmm.
management. And I learn, like, what I'm learning is about this adult initiation, becoming an adult. Is that actually it's true when I'm like reflecting or like looking at us as a humanity, we've really never been initiated into adulthood. Like,
Hmm.
okay, like in Norway they used to do cold baths, like, okay, you are 18, you, or whenever you were having a really big moments in your life, you know, people used to live in communities or so, so they used to do rituals in a cold bath and really challenge yourself, you know, like this adulthood. And we lost it because we are all about Christmas, we all about Easter, we all about consuming, and we became consumers. So when we really reflect on this modern culture, I'm really noticing that truth, that it's the end of humanity, kind of. And that's why there is also this like a possibility management. And many people who are thinking about these regenerative cultures are how to create bridge to something new, like not to push it away, what we've created so far,
Hmm.
but what we can create as a next step. Yeah,
Hmm.
and maybe I'm not straight away answering your question about survival, but
Yeah.
it's just somehow
Hmm.
happened to put a context.
Making a new space of something. They
Spark,
call it cavitation.
spark.
Cavitation. Path.
Yeah, the cavitation. Yeah. So the spark, for example, they issue, and it's translated into, I don't know, 50 languages, also Polish, almost my mother language also. My mother language is Slovakian, and I think it's been translated also to Czech language, and they create like a 300 of documents that they have at least, I don't know, one or two or three experiments how to become an adult in the modern culture. So I'm bringing this up because I think there are some experiments to try how to distinguish when I'm being in a survival and when I'm really living, because
Hmm.
the survival is
Amazing.
becoming a blind spot for us, I think, all of us. And I'm
Hmm.
noticing it with my friend, my partner also, like the way people are running around, like you know, like he has his own house or people have their own
Hmm.
things that they could feel safe and happy and grow and flourish, but many people still live in survival. And even in my case, I must speak for myself, it's this unconscious fear seems like to me that is creating some trigger. Like this unconscious fear seems to be very connected. Like I'm so afraid of something that I start saying yes to everything, or
Mm.
I've healed some pleasing parts of me, but I notice that in myself sometimes that yeah, like the way I behave sometimes suddenly I'm on the edge, like, or I'm completely in a survival that I want to, like do, like let's
Mhm.
say do it. It's this mentality of I need to be doer, otherwise I'm not surviving,
It's
I
like
will be
just
dead if I
afraid,
don't
yeah,
do.
like doing everything because just
Yeah,
of
this.
being afraid.
Yes, yeah, and that there is, and then the impossibility management, or let's say because they provide a possibility for us to grow into adulthood, create a culture. So it's also a great way to experiment. And it's this way of, yeah, like yeah. So I celebrate these, like for example, I can experiment where I'm thinking about yeah, I'm a bit lost now, but yeah, the survival is a great topic. I can see it also in myself, and how to
Yeah,
live instead
how
is
to
one
live
of the
instead
last
of.
spark experiments we use.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's still, even for me, I want to do more experiments and to be very clear when I'm really living and when I'm really like just being in a survival, and having these mechanisms, like survival mechanism. It could be the good girl, I'm the good girl suddenly, and yeah, and then there is, it also connects to the question about the women playing small, because there is a line, even me as a woman, having a man friend around, to dignify myself, like, because uh luckily I have a lot of compassion for people having multiple personalities, kind of, or multiple sides of you, like a baby part, I don't know, protective part, who is very like, so I can have a lot of compassion for my man friend, let's say, and then when he's relaxed, he can accept that he's been not very nice with me or whatever. But anyway, for my job is to be dignified, no matter which parts people are, or masks, or how to say, how they play their life, because for many
Hmm.
people it's been show, to put the mask on,
Hmm.
to to behave in a dictatorial way, to be heartless, let's say, to put the heart
Hmm.
on the side and to be just mechanic, and it's about me to set a boundary when people start behaving that way. So that's also moving from survival to be suddenly scared that I will not have a shelter, to be scared. So I'm learning also to be scared, to be the
Hmm.
abundance. I'm scared and I have a possibility for something else. So I'm
Hmm.
realizing I'm creating some my own ways how to expand my own self, because sometimes
Hmm.
I'm noticing it's there. I'm just so afraid. I'm in a survival and I'm choosing also something else. So there's also this end consciousness that Teal Swan's been also talking about, and I think I've seen it also in possibility management. It's like this end. I'm in the survival and I'm creating something else at the same time. So it's like, yeah, for me, it's my own experiment also in this case, because sometimes it takes time to heal these mechanisms.
Hmm.
Like I'm owning it. Sometimes, like, I'm noticing myself, I'm just like opening my heart center and I'm owning it instead of shrinking in my fear. And it's okay
Hmm.
to embrace my fear, of course, but I'm opening myself that I'm in a survival and I'm owning it. And I can, and I'm like creating inner structure or something like that. And I am a mage. Sometimes you just create kind of an inner structure for yourself and declare, I'm a mage. I'm this magician. I'm this powerful woman at the same time, because I know that I have a power to use my conscious anger and declare something. If someone puts pressure on me and I notice that parts of me wants to crumble and be a pleaser or something, I am that weak woman and I'm a powerful at the same time. I'm shifting myself at this point where I'm
Hmm.
like accepting that I'm this still the old version of myself. I'm shifting to something new. So I'm
Accepting.
declaring that I actually can use my conscious anger, say, look, I will respond to you in 2 minutes. So I'm dignifying myself. Like if someone puts pressure on me, or like
Hmm.
I will respond in 5 minutes, So like it's this
Hmm.
constant baby steps of dignification. And it's very
Hmm.
similar to what you've been,
Hmm.
yeah, talking about and mentioning.
Hmm. So not saying no, but saying, okay, like, let me just think to be clear, and then I'll tell you
Yeah,
then.
yeah, of course, there are many ways that you, and the conscious anger does help, like to, I will do that, I will not do that, or I want that, or being more
Mm-hmm.
curious. Like there are ways where you start being just a being, with a human being next to you who is being aggressive or something. There is always a possibility to connect with the heart, or say, no, stop now. I will talk to you in 5 minutes. There are many ways to respect the human being next to me, even if they behave in an aggressive gremlin way or the shadowy
Mm-hmm.
way,
The shadow
because I
way.
give them possibility to calm down or to reflect on their behavior and also
Mm-hmm.
take care of myself.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, yeah. You answered mostly all of the questions I asked today, and you said the last thing was shadow part, and the shadow part can be called in those healing spaces as a gremlin.
Yeah.
And I love that because, yeah, it can appear in any way, the gremlin. Like, as you say, like we have our own personal gremlin. Um, yeah, so that was a beautiful thing for me to discover. So yeah, thank you for all these things, and thank you for
Mm.
this talk, interview, whatever you want to call it. Um, yeah, I hope someone will take something out from it, and yeah, if we like it, we will somehow create more. We will see how everything just gathers together, and yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I really feel joy that I feel glad that we found each other for this interview. And I want to just say before we end, that was also very interesting how we did it. I want to celebrate that. And I also mentioned it in the last video. uh it's like I really ask you, like, Camila, I want someone to interview me about the conscious anger, because I
Mhm.
did interview before, because my kind of shadowy gremlin part of me was activated. Fuck, I've done, sorry for the word, 7 years of anger workshop. Why to go to rage club? So I did interview with someone, um, so to kind of put my gremlin on the side and really be curious about what is Rage Club in this context of possibility management. And then
Mhm.
after I did it, it was a big celebration. I did it. It was not easy to go through it, especially financially, but somehow there was a magician next to me,
Mhm.
and some magic happened also financially for me. And then I actually went through it. It was quite good. And then I asked you. I was like looking for someone. Can someone interview me? That was really nice to have a part two. And then you said yes. And then nothing really was happening. And then I was waiting for you to say full yes. Because what I'm learning with the conscious anger is you have either full yes or full no. Like, let's be clear. And I was like
Mhm.
waiting for this spark when it feels like full yes, and suddenly
Mhm.
you come to me and there was a big full yes. So I really
Mhm.
celebrate that it feels more
Mhm.
fluid now, like we are really moving
Yeah.
forward. And
I mean, yeah, yeah. The way I see it, it's always fluid. It's just some things take time, It needs to gather, and in the
yeah,
energy, everything has to come. Yeah, and it comes in its own divine time.
exactly, some
Yeah.
divine time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will end this, and yeah, thank you
Mhm.
so much,
Thank you
Aya.
so much for celebrating. Yeah. Bye. Thank you.